I think like the whole stoner community like gets behind you as well. I think because like you're a young guy and you're a stoner, I think that's kind of like part of what makes you. And obviously, there's been a lot of stoners, and there are a lot of stoners in the UFC. But I think for you, like it's such a big part of you. Even now in the background, you got like all the cool like multicolored like tie dye shirts and stuff like that. And so you've got that whole community. I'm wondering though. I've always wanted to ask you this, and now that you're on the show, I guess perfect opportunity. When was the first time that you ever got high? What do you remember from that? And how old were you?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny. Like, there's two things from that. I'll answer that. I'm gonna say this first though. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I was kind of starting my social media presence, I would take a video of me smoking or something, and then I'd win a couple fights. Now I was pro, and then I was talking about. And then we were looking at like, okay, with UFC stuff, and I got told by so many adults and so many people like, hey, dude, don't be posting that stuff. UFC's not gonna like that. Sponsors aren't gonna like that. Don't be posting that. You know, my dad was super like telling me not to. People at the gym were like, hey, dude, don't. I'm like, dude, I don't care if someone doesn't want to sponsor me because I'm smoking weed. I don't want them to be a sponsor. And that was kind of my mindset the whole time. Um, and now it's funny. Reebok made that tie dye shirt. You know, it's obviously
Mm.
pretty. You know, you get the idea of it. And then
Yeah.
even I think John Anik in the fight during the fight said something about being a pothead. It's just funny how it's just like I feel like I can make. I don't know. I don't know. But the first time I smoked weed, I think I was 19. I moved down to Phoenix. I was super against it. My dad was a detective. My mom was a nurse. I got
Wow.
raised like marijuana will kill you. That's kind of the mindset I had. Like, do not like. If someone was even smoking, I would leave. I would not associate myself with it. I was super against it, and it's just how I was raised. And nothing against my mom and dad. They're doing their best, doing what they think is what they need to do. So I have no resentment against that. Um, my mom still thinks it's the worst thing in the world and won't even talk to me about it. Like it's hard for me to have a conversation with her because I want to
Huh.
open her eyes, be like, "Mom, it's not what you think it is." Because they made me think it was something else. Then I smoked for the first time. I think I was 19. The first time I smoked, first time I got high because I smoked out of this vape pen, didn't feel nothing. But then the first time I got high, I think I took a bong rip. My buddy Tim and Frank, we were at the apartments where Tim and I lived here in Phoenix, and I remember like passing out on this Xbox controller. It was on my side. It was the most uncomfortable, but I couldn't like I was awake, but I couldn't move. I'm like, what the fuck? This is so uncomfortable. I couldn't move the Xbox. I was laying on it. I just remember passing out for hours and waking up, and I was like, that's it. That's what it was. That was awesome. So then that doesn't happen every time. It's just like I definitely took way too much from my first time.
Mm.
Um, so I think that was the first time I got really high. Yeah, that was good.
Well, like, yeah, I guess it's like a two for one follow up question on that one. What would you sort of? It's funny how we change as people. Like you before 19, being so against it, and now like it's such a big part of you. I'm wondering, like, do you kind of laugh when you think about the old, yourself, like the first 19 years of your life, and the way you looked at it, and also, what would you say is sort of your favorite or funniest or wildest stoner story?
Yeah, I'd like to touch back on that too. Is like when I was 19. Even then, I probably was too. I'm super super thankful I didn't smoke weed before I moved to Phoenix because I do think if I started smoking when I was 18, 17, 16, that young, I don't think I would have made it to Phoenix because it's so easy to be able to take over your life. Like you could sit down and smoke weed all day and just be chilling. Like I'm not gonna do anything. Even still, like if I take a rip right now, I ain't doing shit the rest of the day unless it's a good sativa. Like it depends what kind too. Um, so I do think you definitely should be at least 21 before you start smoking weed, and then just be very aware. It can take over your life. It can control you. If you don't, I think you just got to be careful. Just with anything, just with like caffeine, even coffee. Like you shouldn't be
Mm.
drinking coffee past fucking 2 p.m. You're gonna be up all night. Like just it's just another tool. It's just another thing. Like just like caffeine. So I think you just got to be careful with when you use it, how much you use of it. Um, and then what was your oh yeah, the funniest
I
moment,
asked,
stoner moment.
funniest, and by the way, I want to jump in there. I want you to feel comfortable, Sean. So if you did want to like rip a bong or whatever, you're more than welcome to. This is a safe place, happy place. You're letting us into your home. But I was asking funniest or just wildest stoner story.
Okay. Well, the funny story. It's got to be smoking with Snoop Dogg. I mean, you don't get much better than that. It wasn't funny. It wasn't necessarily wild, but I was smoking with Snoop Dogg. It was fucking, it was awesome. My buddy Casey Kenny was there. He was on the Contender Series too. He was in the trailer. But yeah, after the Contender Series, I knock out Alfred. I'm sitting in the back. They come in. Dana signs. So I just got signed by the UFC. Just had a fucking sweet viral knockout. And now I'm smoking with Snoop Dogg in his trailer. And it nothing ever has felt like a movie, like I was in a movie scene more than that. It was funny. So it
That's
was
so
that
cool.
was probably the coolest smoking moment. Or smoking with Joe Rogan on his podcast. We were smoking on his podcast, and that was fucking so fun too. So those two moments were pretty cool.